All right, so today on Under the Hood, we're talking about PCV valves. PCV valves, their job is when your engine creates pressure inside the engine, which they all just do naturally when they're running. It vents that pressure back into either the air intake tube or the intake manifold. So this is what a traditional PCV valve looks like. Basically, it just screws into the valve cover, a little rubber hose will come off here, go into the intake track, and then when there's too much pressure, there's a check ball inside of here, and that will open up, relieve the pressure, and then it gets recirculated back into the engine. I don't know if you can hear it, but that's the check ball inside of there. It was always something that we would replace every 15,000 miles or so, or as needed. These used to cost between $2 and $7. They were cheap. Nowadays, on cars, there's lots of different ways that they're now achieving this goal, but it's the same principles, just a little more complex. One thing we've been noticing a lot on Audis, Volkswagens, stuff like that specifically, is they now use what's called an air oil separator, which is just a fancy term for PCV, which stands for positive crankcase ventilation. Air oil separator does the same job. So you can see this is the spring, that's your check ball, okay? And then when there's too much pressure, that rises, the pressure is relieved, it's filtered, and it comes out through here, and in this case, it's circulated back into the intake manifold. You can see right here. The frustrating thing is that they say that this air oil separator doesn't have like a maintenance schedule, like your oil change needs to be done at X time, trans fluid done at this time. There's no set, you service this air oil separator every X amount of miles. The problem is that despite what they say, these fail all the time. And what happens is when they fail, it won't relieve the pressure, and the pressure has to find a way out of the engine somehow. Typically, it'll blow out a seal, whether that's a valve cover seal or a crank seal, camshaft seals. On these Audis and Volkswagens specifically, it blows out the rear main seal. So what you end up having to do is you end up having to pull the transmission, replace the rear main seal, and replace this at the same time. So we recommend replacing these every 30,000 miles. That's just our rule of thumb. I'm sure there's going to be somebody out there that says that's way too conservative and you're wasting people's money. But the reality is, in my opinion, while this isn't a cheap repair, it's a couple $100. It's a lot less expensive than replacing that rear main seal. So we recommend doing it every 30,000 miles. And that's this episode on Under the Hood. And the more you know, the more prepared you are. So, all right, guys.